Hello, everyone, and welcome back into Crypto's News. It's me, your boy, Omar Bam, here to talk about what's happening in crypto and what's been going on. So I apologize I didn't get to make a video last week, and I'm a little bit late on this week. But as you guys know, I've been in the process of moving and settling, and you know how much kind of work that is. Also transitioning jobs right now as well. So it's just been kind of a busy period for me. But of course, a lot has gone on regardless of me. And you probably noticed in crypto when it comes to the prices, it's been very volatile. We recently got quite a big drop, although it looks like some of the bleeding may have stopped. We're still down a little bit in the red today. So we're going to be covering what went on and I suppose what we can look forward to in addition to some of the major news topics. So settle in. And I hope you have a fantastic day yourselves. We're going to get into it right here by starting off with the prices. Oh, and big hello to everybody joining live right now. What's up, Validator? What's up, Beach Whale? Nice to see you guys. Thank you for making it out. And if you haven't made it out, if you're not getting the notifications for live streams, make sure that you have notifications on your YouTube app and that you subscribed and hit the little bell icon on the bottom. And then you'll know when we're live, since it's been a little bit random when I actually do upload. If you want to be here, make sure you do that. And if you guys enjoy the video, please remember to hit the like button. It helps a lot. Thank you for the crazy amount of support we're getting for restarting the show. So many of you have reached out to let me know that you really missed the show and you're back and are wondering where I was. Well, I did explain a lot of that, so I'm not going to get into it again. But here we are in the present, back to crypto and pretty much back to normal. Kiwi Babe. So yeah, let's start off with the prices. As you can see, Bitcoin is down 3.4% over the last 24 hours. It's down to $65,403. It's down 7.6% over the last 7 days. We had numerous days of green candles in a row, so not too much of a surprise that we saw a pullback here from some of the hype that we've been witnessing recently. Ethereum also down 1.1% on the day. It has pulled back a little bit more than Bitcoin, and we'll explain why. Some are expecting that is the case, and it's down 9.6% at $3,483.71. The overall market cap for cryptos are, holy cow, almost $2.6 trillion, down 1.9% over the last day. And the gas prices for ETH are looking pretty positive here. 26 gwei. That's the gwei. That's the gwei. We like to see it. Nothing too crazy that I'm looking here. I'm trying to see any sort of outline, crazy numbers while I scroll down here over the last 7 days. But I'm not seeing anything really magnificent here. It looks like Maker may be making a comeback. Right now, it's up 15.2% over the last 7 days. That's probably one of the names to watch. Kiwi Babe is trying to break my watch here. And Phantom, wow. I remember talking to Leon Fu. You might remember his YouTube channel. Leon Fu and Tai Zen ran a fantastic crypto channel. They started their channel before I even did. I used to watch them back in 2015. And I remember Leon Fu was telling me about Phantom. It's up 34.2%. Or was it Tai Zen? I think it was actually Tai Zen. He had quite a stake in Phantom, and I guess his followers who may have listened to him are being rewarded right now. It's sitting at the number 44 spot. It's kind of crazy to me, right, though, that if we have to scroll all the way down here to get to EOS. Remember EOS? It's all the way at the 100th spot now. You can barely find it now on the first page, and it's about to be bumped off. It's still around $1, the price itself. Whatever happened to EOS? Is anybody still holding EOS out here? Any EOS hodlers? I don't have a stake in EOS, but I have in the past, and wow, it's just decimated. What's up with Thorchain? Wow, Thorchain has not been holding up. It's going to help like transactions happen between chains, or it helps with that rather. Also not doing crazy. Tron, wow, it's still at the number 16 spot. That's surprising, I suppose, but Tron has held up somewhat, so not bad. Avalanche up 4.5%. I gotta say, Avalanche has kind of surprised me a bit after it launched. The hype kind of died away, but it's still right up there next to Cardano. Pretty much the same market cap, just over $20 billion. So that's kind of an overall look at the space. I want to know what you guys are doing. Are you guys looking on the first page, or are you guys trying to look for those second and third and fourth? Oh, 135th page. You can't even see the market caps for these coins to try to get some crazy multipliers. I know people are trying to, like, you know, as usual, trying to get those airdrops. They're trying to find those Solana meme coins that are exploding, Personally, I'm just hodling like the blue chip stuff, like I've mentioned before. Still primary is Bitcoin and Ethereum in my hodlings, and I'm happy there. I don't really wish to risk that much, but you do you guys, and I know the opportunities are out there. So yeah, I mean, it was a boon, right? The Bitcoin CEO caved. Satoshi Nakamoto cited protests in his reluctant decision to lower prices. So this guy right here you'll find him at different conferences. I actually saw him at the Bitcoin conference in Miami about 2-3 years ago. And at first, I think it kind of annoyed him that everybody thought like, oh, you're the face of Satoshi Nakamoto. But from what I hear, he's kind of owned it now. He does autographs, but he's obviously not really Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't remember his real name, but yeah, this guy is like a figure in crypto. Good for him. So let's talk about why the prices might be stabilizing here. Prices seem to have stalled out after they dropped out, but they had dropped because some might have been expecting some bad news come out of holy cow, I got my first tip in forever by Zanny619. Thanks so much, man. Show me shitcoins. You have the best intuition in the game. I mean, I really appreciate that, man, that you have that vote of confidence. You know, for every person who appreciates when I mention the meme coins, I still have those comments that come out and they're like, dude, you scammed so many people in 2017 by talking about Ethereum. I don't know. I don't know what I talked about that did so terribly, but they'll be like Chainlink. I don't know. Chainlink did quite well since I started off, but like if I honestly did you bad by recommending anything, it was never my intention. I never did any back end deals, first of all, to try to like shill anything to you guys and getting paid in the background or to try to pump something that was small. It was usually because something looked really interesting and stood out to me. And I'm still open to those names. So yeah, let me know, guys, and I'll pass it forward to Zanny619 here in the future. But yeah, I'll try to keep a lookout for those, man. Thank you so much for that tip. But yeah, this is there was this expectation that it might be bad news from the Fed, but it actually turned out to be all right. The Fed did not hike interest rates. We're still paused. But we got this dot plot here. So dot plot basically shows you where every member of the Federal Open Market Committee, so these Federal Reserve Board members, where they expect interest rates to be in a certain time period. So you can kind of see here that through 2024, a lot of them, that's the longer line here. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you guys can see the cursor, I believe. Yeah, you can. So that means that we're going to be just north of 4.5% interest rates, which is a drop from where we're at right now, closer to 5.5% interest rates. So some were expecting the first interest rate hike to happen as early as June. That still could be the case, but more than likely by the end of the year, what I'm hearing from reporters that we'll see at least one interest rate drop by December seems to be the most likely thing based on this dot plot. So this would be good for risk assets, not bad. And I think that's put a little bit of a band-aid here on the bleeding that's gone on in cryptocurrencies. But I think, again, like really for the most part, we needed to pull back. Things were getting quite overloaded here on shorter time frames here with Bitcoin passing $73,000 and so on. But yeah, we're still, as you can see here, 70% odds for at least one rate cut by June. So that I think would be really cool to see. Bitcoin had one of the biggest losses, as I mentioned, this last week on Tuesday. Biggest single day loss since FTX's collapse. So when the day that FTX announced their bankruptcy, the prices tanked 14% on FTX. And on Tuesday, prices fell for Bitcoin by over 8% to under $62,000 after breaching $73,500 last week. I guess this is actually 2 weeks ago. So prices had pulled back 15% from that point. So yeah, I mean, who's really suffering here? I think that we had seen already so many different Bitcoin addresses finally in the green, finally in the profit, and people were anxious to take some of those profits. So not much of a surprise to me to see it happening. It was a lot of leverage. So naturally, as prices started to pull back, the longs got wrecked, the usual kind of thing. I think it's interesting here. It talks about, in this article, ETH driving the market south. I don't know about that, but apparently many different commentators on the market have been trying to figure out whether an Ethereum ETF is going to be passing or not. And for the most part, it does seem that by come May, when this first decision is expected to be made by the SEC, the chances have been dropping and dropping, according to the commentators, onto whether this is going to pass in this time period. So, I mean, they look at all sorts of things like Bloomberg commentators who post stuff on Twitter who have reduced their estimates for a spot ETF to actually 30%, for example. Here's Eric Balkunas, a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. The odds of an ETF approval for Ethereum by May deadline are down to 35%. I get all the reasons they should approve it, but all the signs and sources are saying that we're making us bullish 2.5 months out for the Bitcoin spot are not there this time. So we're not seeing like so much hype and expectation to happen. But then again, it was the first time that one of these blue chips here in the United States got approved. So there was like eyes on Bitcoin, and it's not surprising to me that there's not as much interest in the Ethereum one, of course. Eleanor, the Fox business journalist, had this to say. This squares with what I'm hearing too, but to Jake's point, that does not mean it won't get approved this year. Just that time is clearly ticking down to the May deadline with no meaningful engagement yet from the SEC staff on application. But who knows? They could go parabolic on engagement in April/May. I mean, the SEC like rarely engages, as far as I know. They just like bend to market pressure. But shut up, Google. Oh no, by saying that word, she probably actually got activated again. She said something out in the living room. But anyway, yeah, that was in response to a Jake Chervinsky comment. I'm not going to cover it here, but yeah, I always respect what Jake has to say as well. But yeah, he doesn't see an ETF coming out very soon. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. I still see plenty of bullish catalysts for ETH with or without an ETF personally. And if there is some excitement around May, then I think for the traders, for swing traders here, it could be an opportunity to take a position in ETH, thinking out loud here, if they don't have one already, based on this pullback, because there could be people simply trying to hype up an ETF passing. Naturally, I would expect there will be a drop-off, but I think we have some room to climb here. We already breached Ether's $4,000 level before pulling back, so I imagine it will probably take us closer to $5,000 with some of that hype coming in April and May. So I think we'll have to stay tuned for that. Let me know what y'all thinking about that. What the heck happened there? A little bit of a glitch. Hopefully everything's fine with the stream here. It's good to see you too here with me live. Befuddled Hodler. What's up, Mark? Nice to see you as well. I have not been looking a crazy amount at alts, I'm not going to lie. But DPIN, I can write that down and try to take a look at DPIN later on. I appreciate the heads up, Mark. We'll check out DPIN. So prosecutors seek from 40 to 50 years in prison for Sam Bankman-Fried. So we just talked about his exchange, FTX, single biggest day loss since 2 weeks ago when that went bankrupt. And so, yes, it looks like in a week is when he is due to be sentenced for how long he's going to be sent to prison for. So the federal prosecutors are recommending a prison sentence of 40 to 50 years. However, the court's probation officers are recommending at least a 100-year prison sentence to him. Some things that were said where his life in recent years has been one of unmatched greed and hubris, of ambition and rationalization, and courting risk and gambling repeatedly with other people's money. And even now, Bankman-Fried refuses to admit what he did was wrong, prosecutors wrote. I think that's important. Sometimes when it's just clear as day that you scammed people, you scammed politicians, you scammed rich people, right? Oh, we don't scam rich people. That's when you really get screwed. You scammed as many people as you could. Let's be real here. With fraud, with bribes, with so many things, and then you just don't come clean when there's so much evidence that what you did was wrong. That just does not look good in the court. It doesn't look good to the jury. It doesn't look good to the judge. It makes you more likely to get more time in prison, if not sentenced in the first place, right? Or convicted in the first place. But yeah, as it says here, he refused to admit what he did was wrong, having set himself on the goal of amassing endless wealth and unlimited power to the point that he thought he might become president. He had said that. He said that he thought that there was a real shot that he would become president and the world's first trillionaire. There was little Bankman-Fried did not do to achieve these goals, prosecutors said. They said crimes reflected a brazen disrespect for the rule of the law, had depleted the retirement funds and nest eggs of people who could least afford to lose money, including some war-torn or financially insecure countries, and had harmed others who sought to break generational poverty only to be left devastated and heartbroken. He knew what society deemed illegal and unethical, but disregarded that based on a pernicious megalomania guided by the defendant's own values and sense of superiority. Damn, this is scathing. It's one of the largest financial frauds in history and what is likely the largest fraud in the last decade. The defendant victimized tens of thousands of people and companies across several continents over a period of multiple years. He stole money from customers who entrusted it to him. He lied to investors. He sent fabricated documents to lenders. He pumped millions of dollars in illegal donations into our political system. And he bribed foreign officials. Each of these crimes is worth of a lengthy sentence. Unlawful political donations to over 300 politicians on both sides, right? Republicans, Democrats, doesn't matter. He just wants to be friends with everybody. And political action groups amounting to in excess of $100 million is believed to be the largest ever campaign finance offense. And he had $150 million in bribes to the Chinese government, the largest by any single individual to Chinese government officials. Even following FTX's bankruptcy and his subsequent arrest, Bankman-Fried shirked responsibility, deflected blame to market events and other individuals, attempted to tamper with witnesses. So this happened when he was out on bail, and he started contacting all sorts of people to maybe even like his ex-girlfriend, Carolyn, who worked at FTX with him in Alameda, basically to try to get her, I don't know, to be quiet or something like that, but it did not really work out, and lied repeatedly under oath. So, ouch. On the other side of the things, on his attorney said Sam is not the evil genius depicted in the media or the greedy villain described at the trial. His client is a first-time nonviolent offender who was joined in the conduct at issue by at least 4 other culpable individuals in a matter where victims are poised to recover. We're always poised to recover 100 cents on the dollar. How can that really be the case? If you got all this money and gave it away to politicians and governments, so all the money there on the dollar is cents on the dollar is just simply unlikely to be there for every single person who has a claim on that. But I don't know. The defendant's lawyer is certainly getting rich in this process. But yeah, rather small statement here while the prosecutors are coming hard at him. So we'll see what happens. I do believe that people should have the right to, be reformed. And I think I personally don't believe in the death sentence. I don't know that. I guess there's some cases where some people should stay locked up. He hasn't shown any sort of remorse seeming for victims and so on. No real apology here. So I guess we'll see what the judge has to say, but we'll follow up on what goes on here in a week. Anyway. Oh, you're drunk, Zanny. Nice, man. Oh, thank you for those tips again. Oh, man, you're drunk. Oh, geez. About to do a SOL pre-sale. Oh, so you're doing some sort of Solana coin that's coming out, a pre-sale, new to Solana, no time to do your own research. I ape into BS memes. I think I just sent Sol to address listed. Do you know? Chat. What do you mean to the address listed? You sent Sol. I hope you're not being like, you got scammed into something. Or are you talking to me? I don't think I have a Sol address down below. I don't know what's going on here, but I hope it pays off for you, man. I got a Sol meme called Sen Bangman Fred. Hopefully it moons during the sentencing. That sounds legit. Sounds like a legit reason to moon. If it's ever going to moon, I would probably take quick profits on that one, if anything. Sen Bangman Fred. Okay, but thank you again, Zenny. So crypto hasn't even begun to melt faces. A market risk analysis. I saw this, just kind of food for thought if you're wondering about what could go on here, if we're really at a top here. I know some other YouTubers are suggesting we may be at a top. I personally don't think it's the case, but here we have an analysis. This one talks about how there's basically a 1 year after we hit the all-time high where we can make money, make big moolah before things drop off again. That's here in the blue shaded period. You do see that there is a lot of volatility. There are going to be huge drawdowns during the bull market, but things stay really high with the relative strength index 14-day here for a long period of time after we hit the all-time high, or rather after we break the RSI 70 that it looks like here. So that's one signal that we could be setting up here for a longer run here. He likes to look at this historical risk monitor, and he points out how he's looking to sell once we get over 80. But really looking at this chart, which only goes back like 2018, I would probably be considering that after the 60, so like between the 60 to 70 mark here. Since there's not really many data points to go off of here, but he seems quite confident that we'll hit what we had in January 2021 and January 2022. But he also talks about how this looks a lot like 2017 from what he's looking at, and how the crypto fear and greed index over time matters, really talking about how long it stays in a period. And I think that is relevant, thinking about it's not just that we are in extreme greed, but it's for how long we are in extreme greed. If we're there for a week or two, yeah, whatever. But once we start hitting months in that region, it's probably time to pull back. And same when we're on the other side of the coin, on the flip, right? When we are extremely fearful, there's a lot of devastation out there. People are scared for a long period of time, probably getting closer to a bottom, or at least a good time to be dollar cost averaging here. So just wanted to take a look at that stuff. What else we got here? We have, apparently Celsius. So speaking of Celsius, some of that drama is not over yet. So just around when FTX went down, so did Celsius. Some of you might know. And finally, people are getting funds back in the process of doing that. Kiwi just took a poop. Kiwi just took a poop on my desk. It's just bird poop. It's not that bad. Slightly acidic. Might burn a hole through the desk, but I don't need that hole. Good job, Keep. Step up. Good babe. Anyway, it looks like they're suing a influencer named Zeta Zoo, BitMEX leaderboard. So he's a good margin trader. I don't know. Anyway, they're suing him for taking over $100,000 out of his account, withdrawing that amount before the platform crashed. And what they wrote was that these kinds of withdrawals right before they went bankrupt were initiated by less than 2% of Celsius users, but accounted for nearly 40% of the platform's assets. And this has, those who were able to get their money out benefited, and those who were late were wrecked because of this. And there was less to give out afterward to folks who may have been due some sort of claim on this because of these kinds of withdrawals. So anyways, they're offering this individual a settlement that expires on April 15, 2024. This settlement is available for only a limited time and expires on April 15, 2024. At a high level, the settlement basically says that they have to give back huge amount of money, provides you the opportunity to resolve your preference liabilities immediately at a favorable rate through repayment to the litigation administrator equal to 13.75% of the dollar amount of your withdrawal preference exposure. So they want 13.75% of the money back. It's 15%, 50% less than the previous settlement of 27.5% offered under the plan. So, I mean, it looks like he will get to keep only 13.75% of the funds that he withdrew. And he has to give everything back besides that. And this is half what was offered earlier. So since he didn't agree to the plan for holders, right, earlier on where they could get up to 27.5%, now he's only going to get half of that for being a greedy person and evil. How dare you not let your funds be divvied out to everybody else and get out earlier while everybody was freaking out for like a week or two before that Celsius looked like it was about to go under. And this person took action with their capital. Now they want that money back. And they say that they can pay in cash and they don't have to pay back crypto. So hopefully this individual made like a 10x on crypto. I don't think like Bitcoin and Ethereum have made a 10x yet from when this happened. I could be wrong. I haven't run the exact numbers, but maybe they like sold their BTC and ETH and whatever else they withdrew, USDC, and got into some sort of meme coin and make like a 20x, and they still make some sort of profit, and they don't have to deal with hiring an attorney and then dealing with a long lawsuit or anything like that, and they can just pay back whatever with this settlement. But to me, it looks a little bit egregious, and likely this is not just one individual who's being affected here. So this looks like a mass email that was sent out to many individuals who withdrew but right before it went down. Since it's not like super personalized here, we are writing to you as our records indicate that you had a net withdrawal of more than $100,000 of cryptocurrency. It doesn't say a name right here. It doesn't say an exact amount. So it seems like this is something that affected a lot of folks here who may have to deal with clawbacks according to U.S. federal bankruptcy law here. But this individual seems to be in Europe, so I don't know how that would affect things. There's so many different ways. So this is covered here in this. This was being discussed on Reddit. Just spotted a tweet from an influencer getting hit with a lawsuit from Celsius for withdrawing a hefty sum before their bankruptcy declaration. It's one of those preference liability claims aiming to reel in funds taken out by the fast movers in the days leading up to their financial crash. The kicker? They're offering a settlement to close a deal at a discount. Seems kind of scammy from Celsius. The legal jargon is as clear as mud, and international laws on crypto are as consistent as Bitcoin's price on a bad day. The gist of the claim is about fairness. Celsius says that late withdrawals, before they went bankrupt, mind you, left less in the pot for everyone else. They're using the old bankruptcy rule book to try and balance the books, but when it comes to overseas account holders, things get murky. Do international waters protect you from U.S. bankruptcy law? Should you pay up, negotiate, or wait it out? Well, I'm no lawyer, and this isn't legal advice. It's a tough call without some legit counsel, especially when different countries have their own take on cryptocurrency regulations. And I also think this is valuable, this comment by Random5483. This is the type of stuff you consult with an attorney on. As an attorney who is not familiar with bankruptcy law, I would consult with a qualified attorney if I was served with this type of paperwork. As for my best guess, you're likely out of luck if you're in the United States. If outside of the United States, it likely depends on where you are located and where your money is located. If it's located in the United States, probably screwed. Many countries have agreements with the U.S. that allow the enforcement of U.S. judgments. Very likely Europe. So just another development. We knew clawbacks were going to be likely, and this seems to be the beginning of that now in this era. And I just ran into this really funny tweet. I thought you guys might like it. Oh, not to me. I was given a SOL address from a trusted whale, but during ICO on ETH, you used to get tokens instantly back in the day. Yeah, that was the good times. With SOL, I did a few pre-sales, but got no tokens yet. Yeah, because now basically what they do is you send them crypto, and usually they'll set up some sort of spreadsheet, and in that spreadsheet it'll say like who is due what, and they have to like manually approve these things. Back when Ethereum, back in like 2017, which is what you're talking about, Zanny, back with that, it was all done automated on smart contracts before the damn regulators came in here and the scammers and ruined everything. It was really, really cool to see that happen, be it automated and have it happen trustlessly, these different pre-sales for governance tokens to fuel DAOs. It was a very exciting time. Now, it's not necessarily that you won't get your tokens if you like did research on the team and... oh, man. We're talking about meme coins here and researching the team. I mean, teams make meme coins sometimes too, like legit teams. So I'm just joking here. But yeah, you'll probably still get it. I hope you still get it. But it would be kind of shifty if you got your FTX token, FTX meme coin, after like there was a dump, for example. So like super risky for sure. I don't know how it works on Solana. I've never bought into a pre-sale on Solana, but it definitely sounds similarly to what we saw after 2017 when there was more gatekeeping for these pre-sales and more time and manual sending of these transactions. So it's kind of my thought here, what's going on. This is the funny thing by Jimmy Ragosa. So Bob Gendler on the left, Gary's twin, I didn't even know he had a twin, is actually pro-crypto and introduced his brother to Bitcoin. If we were able to swap the twins cleverly, we would have a pro-crypto SEC before May 23rd, announcing Operation Parent Trap. It is uncanny how they look. I assume that they're identical twins based on this picture, but I'm not really sure. He looks like a younger Gary Gensler, but if they are identical, they're the same age. But yeah, I'm with this. It's kind of like The Parent Trap. Many of you might remember the movie. And they swapped parents, right? Like the twins swapped themselves and switched parents because the parents had gotten a divorce, I believe what it was, and they swapped so that they could trade and live with the respective parents. But anyway, we could swap the Genslers. I think that sounds like a legit thing here, since we were basically bait and switch because we thought Gary Gensler was going to be pro crypto because of teaching blockchain classes at MIT, and he has not been very favorable at all toward crypto in many of his comments. And then speaking of scam coins, meme coins, whatever, these scam coins are getting crazy, says Rise. Once someone just shilled me 27 trillion in circulation for this coin, unlimited supply cap, only one node, 25% of the supply minted in the last 6 months, 1% of holders own 30%. Just kidding. That's the US dollar. Oh dear. And they're going to print even more of that supply in shorter periods of time. So I am happy to be in crypto here with you guys, as always. I thank y'all so much for coming out to the show. I'll see y'all next week, and we'll finish with the quote of the day. You will never have this day again, so make it count. Get out there and get those pre-sales. Take care, much love, everyone, and stay cryptic. Peace.